Hey guys, it's Chris, and welcome to Toned and Toneful, the self-actualization video series, episode number 73. What if there was no reward? What if you found out at the end of your life that you did everything you did and you never achieved success? You played music, you worked on projects, you put your life into practice, and you never became a successful musician. You just played music because you loved it. What if you found out that your favorite movie didn't have an ending? You watch the whole story and you get to the point where you're expecting an ending and there's nothing. Life can seem like this sometimes because we wonder, what is the reward for what I'm doing? And why is it that I do what I do? And many of us live in a contemplative state of wondering if the things that we're doing should still be a thing that we invest time in, or is it something we should finally let go of? Should we move on to something new where there's more reward, where there's more coming back to us because it feels easier, because it comes faster? But what if this view is what's hurting us? What if this point of view is why we can't actually achieve the rewards that we want in life because we don't see it as part of the process? So in this week's episode, I do want to tie up this theme that's been going on for the whole month of February, which is the idea of what reward means to us as an artist and as a person who uses creativity as a large part of our life in our projects and in our work. So one of the first things that I want to talk about in this week's episode is why people want rewards so bad. It seems that in today's lifestyle, reward is so much more important than it is to actually have love for the process of something. People are using AI to get results faster because they want to see the ending. They want the result and the reward now. People are utilizing marketing to get the results and the reward that they want faster. And while it is important that the things that we do, we try to get in front of the audiences that it would matter. You know, you release that song, you want people to hear it. You put out that new piece of art into an art showing, and you want people to be there. You want them to observe it. But before we can be in that mindset, have you done the work to be the artist that you know you want to be already? And that is a really big thing. The reward might seem like if I just had that, I would be happy. But if you're truly an obsessed artist, if you're truly obsessed musician, that reward would actually be an ending to a certain part of what you're trying to work on. If you got the 10 million views that you wanted, if you got the platinum record, what would be the next thing? Would it literally just be more? Would your mindset be focused on the idea that what comes next is basically just more views, more listens, more money? Or is there something that you're trying to uncover in yourself, which is, I believe, is what a true obsessive artist is? There's someone who can't sleep at night when they don't play their instrument. There's someone who can't live their life without creativity and without the process being involved in their daily life. If we were to look at our own self inside, what drives us? Many of us wake up every day and do similar things. We have habits, we have rudiments, we have rituals that we upkeep. But a lot of people, when I speak to them, do these rituals and these rudiments to have reward. Some people say, well, if I wake up every day and I eat healthy and I go to the gym, I'll be ripped. But I'll look at some of them, and this is a no offense to them, but they're not in shape. They do all these processes literally to circumvent it with bad habits later. I see many musicians practicing scales, playing over chord charts, practicing to a crazy amount. But there's no reward. Some of them don't ever become a successful musician. They end up becoming a person who plays in their room. But one thing that's interesting about these people who upkeep these rudiments and these rituals is They're truly happy because they enjoy the process. They enjoy the idea of working towards something, and that working towards something is part of their daily being. And we could all learn from this, because when we put our focus on reward, there is I believe, natural inverse operation in the universe. The more you want something, the more that thing avoids. It's like the approach avoidance. But when we allow ourselves to be still in the things that we do, if we observe the process, we can touch this. We can touch this reward. And the reward is something that is much more than a bullet point that we can put on a piece of paper. It's much more than the amount of views that we're going to have. It's much more than just making a certain amount of money. It becomes a vision for our life. And while many people are afraid to think, what if I tried the rest of my life and I didn't get anywhere? There are a whole group of people who know, no matter what, every day I'm going to play music. No matter what, every day I'm going to dedicate my life to that process in order to just know that I'm living my life the way I want to live my life. And this is a very endearing trait to see in a person. And the people who seem to achieve this success the most, on a true level, we can take a look at people like Justin Bieber. We can take a look at many famous celebrities and realize that they still feel hollow. Many of them put themselves in situations where their life ends. Many of them put themselves in situations where they're in harm's way. And you ask them, why did you do that? Why are you at this point where you did drugs the way you did? And they go, I wanted to escape the success. You go, why did you find so many bad friends? And they just like, I wanted someone to care about me. And it's interesting because you think this person has everything that you want. They have the social status. They have the platinum records. But at the same time, they're hiding from their self because they no longer enjoy the process. They're living their life where everything that they're about is everything that came past the reward. And the identity of the person is now lost. The reward is just a part of the process. It's a reflection of how some of the things that we're doing are connecting. There are times where everything is running on all cylinders. You write a new song, you put it out, everyone reacts. It's perfect. At least in your eyes and in your vision. But that doesn't mean that it stops there. A lot of us don't make a plan past what we want to have as our reward. And that puts us in a really bad place. No different than when we talked about at the beginning of this episode, the movie. Imagine if your favorite movie didn't have an ending. But if you got to the ending of the movie and it cuts out, it's over. Your life is an ongoing process until the moment that you're no longer in your life. And that's why it's extremely important that we take that process so seriously and we enjoy the things that it takes to maintain the rudimentary and daily practices that lead us to the things we love. A parent takes care of their child every day. But it's part of the process. They enjoy, each stage as a kid gets past it. I have friends who tell me, oh, when my kid turned 5, they weren't the little kid anymore. And you know what? I kind of miss it. And then when the kid turns 9, they go, I miss when they were 5 and they loved to play. Now we don't play anymore. The kid gets to 13 and they go, I wish, my kid and I still just got along like they did when they were young, because now they're at that adolescent stage. Then the kid is 17 and they're not home very much. And the parents go, I miss the process that we had when they were 13 because we still had dinner on a nightly basis. And in each part of the process that they go through, they pay respect to those moments that are passing. Because in the process itself, we are ending and beginning new things. And that is why it is really important to not look at the reward as like the mountaintop, but it's important to look at the reward as more of a stopping point to look off the mountain and go, remember all that? Remember all that? And then to keep on driving. Because the idea is that we're climbing a mountain that never ends. And with reward being something that you can see separately from yourself, separate from your identity, and that you find your identity in who you are in the process, you can now start to reflect upon the things that you want to see in your life. We don't have to be like famous people. We don't have to be like rich people. And many of us never will be. But the main important thing that you can take away from this episode is remembering how important your mindset is towards how you view that reward. Getting straight A's is great. You end the quarter and you have straight A's and your parents say, good job, and they give you a high five. But what comes after that? You got to do another semester in school. And now you got to redo all the things you did to try to re-achieve that level again. But the most important thing wasn't the straight A's. The most important thing was the process of listening to the teacher and learning what you needed to learn to go through that again. And that is why this month has been so important to me, because many people in my life who I care about dearly are always looking for the result before they're actually looking to how much they enjoy the process of getting to it. And what they end up doing with their life and what they end up doing with their time is rushing. And as they rush, they start to realize, I don't have as much time as I thought I did. And I've spent so much of my time ignoring where I was in the moment just to get to this. You have no idea how many people I know who are successful and, again, have worked themselves to the point that their health is a problem. Have worked themselves to the point that they have every material thing they want, but they still feel hollow. That many of them want to be numb because in order to gain what they're trying to gain, they're so stressed that drugs is a regular part of their life to escape themselves. Like they cannot even be in their own, sit within themselves. So this is something that I wanted to bring to attention to end the month for February. And I really hope you guys have been enjoying this whole thematic month of reward, because it is something that is so important for us to view before we move into the next month's subject, which is going to be the new beginnings. And when we start to take away this need for reward so strongly, we can actually begin anew every day, because the process and what we're learning is always so important to us. So I really appreciate you guys, and I want to thank you for watching episode number 73 of the Toned and Toneful video series, What If There Was No Reward? I hope you guys have a great week, and above all else, stay toned and toneful.